Greetings everyone. Let me know if you can see me and hear me good. Write it in the comments. Confirm that you can see me and hear me good. It is an honor to be here with you. Thank you for being here. The most powerful video that we're about to deliver, and it is part of our Saving the Children series, Transhumanism, Transgenderism, Black-Eyed Babies, children from those who have been vaccinated, and hybrid children and all of that. So thank you, all that comes with that. So thank you for being here, being strong enough to understand this content, and whether you're going to share it in the future, whoever you're going to, I humbly thank you. This series is huge. It's actually, I would qualify it as number one for me specifically, as a being who has come forth onto Earth to assist the collective. It all begins with the children, so that's what this is about. Okay, all right, well, thank you. Let me go ahead and introduce myself to you. I am AuroRa. I am the author to Galactic Soul History of the Universe, Book 1, which you can find under Amazon, both in ebook and in paper. And then you could also find the audiobook under my website, risingphoenixaurora.com. This tells the journey of the universe, so you can understand what is going on, as this specific video will be very strong content. How is that this is happening to the children? How could this be? It tells you the story of the universe and how the AI virus, and how this has a lot to really all pretty much that has to do with these inversions of harm upon the children. And so you could read that, which is telling us the story through past life regression work, as well as my channeled information as well. And then you can find a preview. I have a preview also under my website, risingphoenixaurora.com, for the next book series, where we're also talking about the children and abductions within the wombs and all that has been occurring. Okay, and yeah, so check that out. And then I also offer quantum Galactic Akashic readings under my website, risingphoenixaurora.com. I offer A.U.R.A Hypnosis, which is part of what the book is about, entity removal, past life regression sessions, and raw Reiki sessions. These are all entity removal based, where you become organic and start walking your most organic path. We teach all these courses. Specifically, we do retreats around the states. And we do retreats teaching you how to walk your most organic timeline, removing yourself from the inverted timeline, because you become your own self-healer in that moment in time. And when you start becoming your own self-healer, then you start walking your most organic timeline. But first you need to find out what is within you that is not truly divinely organically yours. So it is the most powerful retreat that you can join. The next one is in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, in May 13, and also the online workshop I teach, in case you can't come to us in person because of some of the restrictions that are still there. You can join us, our next online workshop that teaches A.U.R.A Hypnosis, how you can become your own self-healer. And then raw Reiki is being taught actually in about a couple weeks. Last day to sign up for that is March 7th, so make sure you sign up as soon as you can. I'd love to meet you there, so that we can expand, activate, grow together, and most importantly for you to become most beautifully organic for yourself, because it feels good. All right, and I'm just checking out to see if you guys confirmed. Did you guys confirm that you can hear me and see me good? I believe you can. But yeah, just write it in chat just to make sure that you can see me and hear me good. Okay. All right, beautiful. So all that we do, all the courses, even down to the courses, to the sessions I offer, it's all about, thank you, you can hear me and see me good. All right, so all the courses we do are about saving the children. So we will be talking about some tough subjects right now. But yes, you can support this video under Patreon for $4 a month, and you could do that. And you also receive live Q&A with me and group meditation privately with another private group, which is really, really beautiful. And let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing. No, come check out AuroRaPractitioners.com, where there's many other practitioners as well who are certified through the courses that I teach as the founder. And yes, I'm known as a galactic historian, a spiritual revolutionist, a light warrior, a seer, an oracle. So a lot of what I'll be speaking about today will be what I'm remote viewing through my third eye, and a lot of our series that I'll be addressing you to will be about that, how to see with your third eye but connected to your heart and surround yourself with infinite source of light. Thank you. All right, so let's begin. You all, if you haven't had a chance to write your questions, which I saw there were some questions, Gina, under YouTube that people wrote, so I want to under the communities tab, so I want to make sure you grab those. And so yes, if you write them all in the different platforms, social media platforms that I post these, you can write your questions beforehand in case you can't be here for the live video. That way we can still answer your questions. But otherwise, if you are live here with me right now on the Rumble, thank you. First of all, I love you, honor you, and respect you. Thank you. But you can write your questions now in chat, and they're going to go ahead and hand those over to me. It's 111, send love to Mother Earth and the children. We send 555 is when we send love to the children, but send love to all Mother Earth and all life forms within Earth right now at 111 on the 13th hour. All right, thank you. Yes, Kali Flames, definitely you all. All right, here we go. So we had a lot of good questions that we didn't cover last week when we did part 2 to this video. So the first original video was on transhumanism. We talked about Epstein, some dark stuff, child trafficking, the black-eyed babies. Okay, that was part 1, and that was actually recorded all the way back in October 2021. So then the one part 2, where we talk more about artificial wombs, we just recorded that last Friday. So go ahead and check that out. If you haven't checked out part 1 and part 2, I do highly suggest you go check that out so you could understand this content from this video, so that you won't be completely lost and you can understand what we're talking about. Okay, all right, beautiful. It's a little cloudy here today, so it's a little bit dark here, but that's okay. Okay, so the first things that I want to, there's lots to talk about, lots to cover, so thank you for holding the space for the children. I think one of my favorite Greek goddesses are, there's many of them, but I love Hestia. If you look up Goddess Hestia, she's holding a flame, and she reminds you a lot of Mother Mary. She's holding a flame in her hands, and she's actually one of the protectors of the children as well, the guardians of children. So remembering ourselves as well, that we have these embodiments within us of all these essences that we are spread out throughout the universe. And as we discover and remember who we are, we will be able to understand further these essences within us and how we are guardians and protectors of the children as well. Like I said at the beginning, the number one hardest, what is occurring on Earth, the densest, most darkest, inverted, artificial intelligence driven is the children pedophilic rings, the acts on children, and then also not only that, but how the AI and is trying to attack the children. We already know through the COVID-19 vaccine how they're trying to create a new hybrid. So again, we're only going to really talk about things that are new because we've already addressed these things, and we have almost 600 videos alone, which so this playlist you can find under Rumble and Odyssey only, the full videos, just because of its sensitive content, what we're talking about. As you know, when you talk about COVID vaccine, other platforms, they ban you. So that's why we're here in Rumble and Odyssey. So make sure you subscribe and share that. And then also, yeah, so that's where you could also find a playlist. But I am going to be talking about some Tartarian information. So I'm going to go ahead and direct you over to the playlist of Tartaria and Tartaka series. Has been huge. We have about 12 episodes now. that we started since last year delivering. So if you don't understand the Tartarian information I'm about to deliver, you want to go ahead and watch that series. Again, the full episodes are found under Rumble and Odyssey. You can find some under YouTube though, but you can find the whole playlist under Odyssey, so you can see it, all of it in a row. And Rumble, you can find them all as well. Okay, all right. So thank you for being here live with me. Let's get started. So yes, whew. All right. So let's begin. So thank you for all those wonderful questions you've given us so far. Where do we begin? Yeah. All right, so let's talk about black-eyed babies, because in the first video we talked about it, but I wanted to just give you a quick little recap of what we talked about in the first video. So I'm just going to actually just refer back over to my video, and here it is. So you're going to start seeing here babies. Okay, so you see these babies we talked about in the first video, but in case you didn't see these videos in the first video, and just as a reminder, this is what started happening a couple months actually, right after people started receiving the vaccinations, whether they were pregnant when they got it or whether they conceived the baby after they had gotten the vaccination. And this can happen whether it's one parent or two parents. If you notice that this baby's got full solid black eyes. Now, not all hybrid type of babies like this will have solid black eyes. Some of them will look more normal, but what's happening is that since the parent infringed upon their DNA structure, what happened was that then these babies started to come forth into the collective. Other things that we talked about in this video were how they can stand up. See, this baby's only a day old and they can hold its head up. We know that babies can't do that till a couple months. Babies also are standing up at 2 to 3 months. And we have explained prior how that is like a baby that is being grown, like grays. Grays are being grown in labs. Okay, so you can check out the first video to get more information about this. And yeah, here's another one. But there's quite a few, like babies turning themselves over, they're just day old, and so on. Okay, so just a little video understanding there. 6 days old, holding up their head, turning over, 2 months, crawling. All right. Okay, so stop sharing that now. Okay, all right. So in the first video, we talked about the dark Epstein, and all those pedophilic rings that were affecting the children's, already testing out and infringing upon their genes. Similar like Hitler, basically. It is rooted actually to Hitler, and how they started with the Jewish bloodline, started to put them in camps, and then they started injecting the COVID-19 vaccine so that they can infringe upon the genes and see what type of changes they could do to the human genome. Okay, so they've either done this through, say, World War II, Hitler, or they've also done this in plain sight, but also behind the walls, as we talked about in our second video, that there are walls behind the walls, in between walls, that we don't know of, in rooms. Okay, now so the goal is that they are trying to create a genetic modified humanoid that has basically a negative polarized entity inside of them. They're not fully organic at that point. So if the soul is not fully organic, then something else needs to come in and invertedly come into the body. So going back to some of where we directed you to check out more content, is that the soul is not able to stand forth on the AI, and it jumps out, and that's why all that rise of losing miscarriages or not being able to carry, because the babies have to be in a very strong love light to not allow for that infringement, which is the reason why I'm saying this. there are babies that are coming. I have an aura hypnosis coming up soon in the next couple of days that's going to explain to us the multiverse and the multiverse's plan to this infringement upon black-eyed babies. I have known about this, but the client didn't know about this. So I've been knowing this for a while, especially since when the COVID-19 vaccine began, and I saw how it was going to infringe upon humankind and make these hybrid babies. So even this hybrid baby goes back to the hybridization program that people have been talking about, and how they've been UFO abducting mothers and fathers, trying to mess with, again, with different races in their labs with, you know, all the scientific infringements that they do there. Okay, but now they rolled that out to the through the COVID vaccine to do it in plain sight. Okay, with people's consent. Those are people who allowed it. They were consenting to it. Okay, this is a really strong video. I have to keep clearing energy, so it's hard sometimes to hold the space, but I am doing it beautifully. But sometimes I need to refocus and clear space because of how strong it is. You all know how real and pure our content is. So thank you again. All right. So yeah. Okay, babies. Ugh. Clearing something. Sorry, guys. All right. Oh, back to that. They don't want me to say it. Goodness. All right, that's okay. The dark forces, that is. So I've been knowing, yes, that the children were coming. Specifically angelic children, highest potence that we have ever seen on Earth. And so we have an aura regression coming out that's going to be about these angel babies that are being guarded by, they're in these creational eggs, and they are being guarded by dragons. So, and it is part of the multiverse plan again. So check out that aura. It's going to be huge. I wanted to mention that to you because, yes, back then when I started delivering these videos over to you guys about their diabolical plan against harm against children, not only through all the ways that we mentioned already at the beginning, I knew that there was going to be a new force field, a new angelic, say, bloodline, or even, it doesn't even have to be angelic, it's also many races throughout the universe that there's children starseeds that are coming. Now what's happening is that in order for us to stop this black-eyed babies diabolical new world order plan, we need to bring in babies who will be strong enough to push out the COVID vaccine through, if the parents have the vaccine inside of them. Those babies that come in, they basically have to be so strong that they are stronger than the vaccination that's inside their parents, their mother and father. They have to push through that, and then when they do that, when they come into the wombs of the mothers and fathers, you know, their space, when their egg and sperm, when they procreate and become in the womb, they have to push out the entity and the AI that's inside their parents' genome and their DNA. You guys understand? So this is gigantic, and we've been waiting for this. So this is the year that we're going to start seeing this. I feel that we've already been seeing some of this already, like implications of it. So again, the baby is so infinitely strong. Their light is so strong, no matter how dense their parents are. And this is huge because typically you have to match your parents' vibration to come in, not them. So it would be a divine organic agreement with the higher self of the parents, even though they're compromised, the parents, and they're not, say, fully in the body. They got a lot of AI in them. So the goal is, as these babies push out, for example, the tried infringement, that they would be black-eyed babies instead, that they'd be hybrid babies. They're completely eradicating and pushing that out. You guys understand? And that they're the original organic soul of these beings that are leveling up, that are leveled up at the highest potence ever, are pushing this out, okay? And they're transmuting it, eradicating. This is, I'm sure you guys can understand how big this is, okay? So in other words, then we're going to see a least amount of quantity of black-eyed babies that are hybrids, because the original souls that are coming into the bodies have pushed out that infringement. So the goal is to bring these highly developed babies not only to the parents who are vaccinated, or maybe one parent vaccinated. The goal is to bring them to all parents. So that's why we've been really talking about recently about sacredly birthing, being within sacred organic soul, you having also a organic body so that you could provide the most infinite love light. So the generation that has been coming that has not been infringed upon by the COVID-19 vaccine, last couple years, babies, they have been strongly been protected by Source, Divine Mother, and Father of Creation, because as they were trying to come in, they were infringing upon them, because they're the ones that have set it up for the next level up of babies that are about to come in to eradicate this black-eyed. So that's the divine plan. There, okay. So, yeah. Oh my goodness. So I feel that you guys understand that. I made that very clear. So add your questions, what you have on what I just said. Okay. All right. So I'm going to keep going with what's on my list here. Okay. So the other thing that we want to really talk about is, so we have transhumanism, but it translates and it bleeds into transgenderism, or binary, you know, you could call it androgynous, but androgynous has organic to it. But basically not having a sex, not being female or male. That's what they want to do to the current generation. I've been hearing more and more of you guys talking to me about how in college, how in high school, or even preschool, I've been hearing that they don't want to classify, they don't want to have the child classify them as female or male, or they're both. So this is actually rooted from the black magic sorcery of transhumanism, because it's the same thing. They don't want you to be an angelic being. They don't want you to be a divine mother expression. They don't want you to be a god, a goddess, a Pleiadian, a, you know, benevolent being, a dragon. They don't want you to be these things, because they want to neutralize, they want to erase that memory, erase that coding from within you, all that you work so hard to incarnate throughout the universe. They want to nullify that, because with this, it comes experience, comes abilities, comes strength to eradicate and transmute this new world order, dark entities, archon, artificial intelligence we talk about. Okay, so the more that you become numb and neutral, that's their favorite thing, neutral in different forms, the more that is the way that they want you. And we're talking about, I know there's also like a neutral positive way, but I'm talking about like a neutral, like a void, like nothing. You're nothing, basically. Okay. So I was actually talking to someone maybe a couple months ago where they're actually part of the Pride. You know, they're I can't remember if they were gay or bi, but you know, they've been, you know, in those Pride parades for a long time and all of that. So which I have to make very clear that as a child, I always felt that no one should be treated negatively, including how religion was treating gay people and so on back then. So I always felt like everyone needed to be treated equally. So yeah, so I was talking to, so I want to make that very clear. Don't confuse this with me being, having any kind of homophobia or separation. That's false. So don't even try it. I don't consent to that. But what I'm talking about is their transgenderism and transhumanism, that they're trying to have the children be like these hybrid babies, just like cold, nothing, don't choose, basically. And yeah, so I was talking to the person, and that does, I think she did like plays and stuff that were related to like drag queens and stuff. And then she was explaining to me how she had noticed also a huge rise of people in the supposed gay community, but her concern was the fact that they were saying that they were none. They were just both. That they like both, or no, her biggest concern was that they couldn't classify themselves in either one of them. So be careful with that when you hear that. That is something that is directly driven by the Archon, because I know a lot of light workers talk about that. Like, okay, there's no female, there's no male. What I can tell you is that, or they say, basically, they want you to believe that even at the highest source, there's no difference between feminine and masculine. Now, collectively, they are one. So then, yes, there's no separation there. But creator and creator mother and creator father, divine mother and divine father, are feminine and masculine. They both have those feminine and masculine inside of us, inside of them, just like we do. But it becomes dangerous when you start saying that you think that source doesn't have this feminine, beautiful, divine feminine quality that creates souls from womb space. Or when you say that the divine father, the divine masculine, doesn't have the power, like the ether, which is the semen that creates, that is a material to creating. So it's really important that we understand that is how we create, through these plasmic fields of divine feminine energies and divine masculine. So it's okay if we feel like both, but not nothing. That is part of the transhumanism, transgenderism. So yes, they've been trying to get the children to do that because they want them to, when they grow up, then they also want them to change their body parts, because what will happen, I've seen these children, especially like the young adults, they're really falling for this agenda. Like maybe college ages. And so what happens is, say if there's a female, okay, and she maybe didn't feel, she started going with this agenda and maybe feels like, oh, I don't really want to have anything, I don't want to be anything. They start basically blocking their abilities. They're blocking their natural essence of masculinity and femininity. That whole balance, like Hinduism, balancing your divine feminine and your masculine, finding, or like even Chinese culture, the Asian culture, the yin and the yang. So with that, then they stop tapping into those abilities, like the masculine are shields. The feminine are fierce protectors as well. So these different qualities, though, that we all have different, but for the main category is that the female protects and is the, if you could imagine basically what feminine and masculine mean, is that, let's picture a shield, a bubble, what they're showing me now. So this bubble has plasmic light and energy inside of it. So the membrane of this bubble is the masculine, the one that is the outer layer that protects. The inside that makes up the whole shield inside, like plasma, like, yes, like plasma, or like placenta, you could say, in the child's womb, that's the feminine inside. So the masculine is the outer lining, and then the inside is the feminine plasma, creational energy, womb, placenta of the babies, like that. Okay, because that's what placenta is. It's this womb energy that creates. Okay, so together they protect, right? So these different qualities. So what happens is, if you become none and you're like, I don't want to be none, it really basically opens you up. it opens you up to not loving yourself. First of all, you've been given the body that you chose, that body before you came in to earth. You did. No one else chose it for you. You chose it for a reason. So then you're also not self-loving yourself in the body that you're in, even though you say you have a female body and you feel more masculine. It's okay. I am also very masculine as well, but I find balance with both, right? But then you're blocking out if your female abilities, your female qualities, when you feel like I'm going to be this masculine, now I'm going to take hormones that are going to, steroids that are going to give you hair and all these different things. See, then you're not learning to self-love yourself the way that you created yourself, because you created yourself. Source helped you create yourself to come in. So then it becomes a separation between self-love, a separation between who you really are in the universe as these beautiful beings. Now there are different races that are both inside the body, but what I'm talking about here is human, in the human world, in the earthly world. And okay, so I feel like I've explained that pretty good. Let me see if there's anything else I want to explain that. So it also gives a lot of confusion. It's like that sphere with the membrane wall. It's like you're created holes or cracks in it, and it's like withering. It's like pieces are missing because you don't love those parts of you, and now these qualities that come with that are weakened, and now they get pierced through and continue to infringe upon you the minute you start taking steroids, which is of course not organic. It's inverted, and start becoming this person that has no identity, because that's what transhumanism and transgenderism is about, not having an identity. So basically it allows for them to infringe upon you further, and at that point then you're going to have a lot of self-doubt, not love yourself. You're going to be really clouded. You're going to be easily influenced to be in a lower vibration. Now, I know there's people out there that feel like this, and it's okay. You have found balance. I am talking about specifically the New World Order agenda, where they want to make the children like this. That's what I'm talking about. So don't take any offense, because I'm not going there, and that's not what I'm talking about. Okay? All right. So let me see. All right. So that's on transgenderism. Okay. Okay, so I want to take some questions before I go into what I'm about to go into, which is going to be really strong. Okay, so let's see some of these questions. Okay, so someone said, I had an aura that revealed the fertility treatments are intended to merge the AI with the organic in these babies. How can we assist these babies? I think we started to answer that, but let me see if there's anything else I want to add to that. How can we assist these babies who are born this way? Okay, fertility treatments, yeah. Well, it's that whole thing. Like, what kind of fertility treatments? I personally never researched it, but I'm getting that they probably injecting something into the parent's body, whether it's the female or the male, or having them take some kind of pills to increase perhaps testosterone or different enhanced hormones in you. Again, you don't know what this pill or these liquids that they're injecting into you are, and how they can affect you, how they can affect your sacred space, your reproductive system, your ovaries, your sperm. What are you merging into it? So thank you for sharing that, who had that aura. Yep, that's what they're intended, like we talked about in the artificial wombs, their intended plan is diabolical plan. So how can we assist these babies who are born? Okay, so one of the reasons, going back to the babies that are coming, that are going to have the highest angelic energy, and others as well, what happens there is that they're going to push through the next generation to come of all babies. And again, they've already been coming, but they're going to push through that. The more that it's going to, basically, they're going to assist with the Vesica Pisces and how we talk about how it's splitting and it's dilating. They're going to push that away and transmute that. Just being in their presence is going to start assisting them, because, for example, one of the reasons that they will be born to some of the vaccinated parents, if they're born to vaccinated parents, or starseeds like us who are awakened, but is because they initially are going to awaken the parents, try to assist the parents, so that the parents can self-heal the vaccine inside of them. They're going to help them start healing and push it out, or at least develop enough of an understanding and consciousness that they do have something negative inside of them, that their child is very special, and they need to see holistic help to heal themselves, which as you know, AuroRa hypnosis actually focuses on entity removal, and that's what you would need. You would need actual entity removal and remove the AI, the archons, the reptilians inside of you, the nano that they inserted in you. Okay. All right. So the next question is Source helping these black-eyed babies not to be born by creating miscarriages? I think, yes, that's a way that you can look at it, but overall it is because the baby is not a matching vibration to the AI inside the womb, inside the sperm, inside the DNA, and they just can't hold that frequency. So just like the parents who, or the people who did the vaccine, their spirit kind of jumped out of their body, and they're still hanging on tethered, but they're not fully in the body. They're not a matching vibration to this AI, so they do have to jump out, in other words, miscarriage, and leave. But how do we fix this, guys? How do we fix the fact that the earth has become so unfertile and there's a minimum of children being born nowadays? The babies that are going to come in have to be the strongest to start aligning and balancing this out. Okay, do we have, because this is so hard to share with you guys, because it's like, I want to protect these babies, but just like, was it 2 years ago when I started talking about infringements upon the womb, abduction within the womb, and how, like, we are the deadliest weapon, those time frames, those videos back in, I think it was 2020, I started talking about late 2020, and I started telling you guys that they were going after the babies in the wombs. And then what happened, guys? The vaccine came out, and they started going after the babies in the wombs. So it was hard for me to share that back then, because I didn't want the babies to be further targeted, but they were already doing it to them. They had already started that. They were starting that diabolical plan. So it's like that. It's like, I have to share this so that we can assist these children here on earth so that they could come in. And how do you assist these babies that are coming in? Is that, one, you become more connected to your dragons, because that's going to bring them in. Their dragons are going to bring them in safely through the veil. Okay? Become more connected with all the content that we're talking about, like the pyramids that are inside the earth that are cultivating and holding the collective of these babies. We talked about that in Lionsgate. So make sure you watch last year's Lionsgate video. Very important, because that started preparing the energy and the space for these babies. So perhaps meditating and sending love to these babies, that they have safe journeys here, and they are provided source of light so that they can accomplish their missions on earth, whatever that is for them. So more love to the children, especially those that are about to come. Okay? All right. So someone's asking do we have an idea of the number of babies to be more like this from the V? What I can tell you is that it's not many. It's as minimal as possible, because also that soul that did jump out of the body, and then that gray or that entity, what hybrid entity that's not fully organic, that is now in that little baby body that has those black eyes, like I showed you at the beginning, that can stand up. They've basically contained the soul, and it's a little bit kind of like the superstars and how they sell their soul away, except for in this example, the child didn't sell their soul away. Their parents in some form gave away that soul. But so just like we explained, the soul then, so the gray, say, let's use a gray for example, they're inside that body, and that's why they look so freaky. And then, and they don't have to look black-eyed, they look freaky. You could tell, you can sense it. There's something really wrong with these babies. And then, so the goal is, so then this baby is still tethered organically, but they're contained in dark magic sorcery. Okay, so another thing that as a collective we have to start working on is to assist these babies who are contained like this. And the way that we do that is we hold the strongest love of light. We heal the earth. We are the strongest vibration and light that we can be on earth, because that is the needed source light that they will need to push through. Phoenix fire, dragon fire, source fire, flames, the elements. We're holding all these elements so that we can push through. So the number of babies being born like this from the V, I would say it's minimal, because again, they have to be the example so that we can understand that, wait a minute, there's something going on. Wait a minute, maybe like say oracles like me and seers, sounds like they were accurate back then before it started even coming into physical proof. Or yeah, all those people that, you know, told you no, not to get it, oh, you know, they were accurate. So we have to have those physical examples, because unfortunately, the way the world is set up, you need the physical proof to most people, right? I don't need that personally. I can sense and feel things without having to see them with my physical eyes, which is why I'm here every day with these videos for you guys. But most people need a physical proof, and there's a physical proof. So with the physical proof, now we believe, now we understand. So they will be those examples so that we won't allow for this continued infringement to keep happening. So now we're in the after effects, after the COVID-19 vaccine. What can we do as a collective now to heal and push this out? And there is a couple decades of work. Some people think that we're going to be ascending out very next couple years or whatever. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of babies that need your assistance. So we need to do all the work we can right now so that we can reach the collective at a higher percentage. We're looking at possibly 20% of people ascending out at this point, especially after the COVID-19 vaccine. There's a lot of work, and you can see it around you, okay? If you're really looking with your heart. So does the Epstein-Barr virus have to do with transhumanism, since it really affects children? It does. So we talked about it in the first video, actually. We talked about how the Epstein-Barr virus was actually named after Epstein, the dark pedophilic man who is still alive and unfortunately still abusing children with his island. Maybe not his island, but maybe somewhere else. They're hiding him for sure. So yeah, and let's see. So that's why it affects in this lower spine and in the hips and these lower sacral spaces, because they wanted to infringe upon that space and collectively densify it. So yeah, that the Epstein-Barr virus was injected through children vaccinations the minute that they're born. All these illnesses that, so I have to say I'm not a licensed physician, go see your doctor. But yeah, illnesses, diseases, cancer even, all these things begin from vaccinations, because the vaccinations are artificial intelligence. Some of them are stronger than others, but they're a virus that goes in and they're programmed. So each one of these different vaccinations has a program. And in each vaccination, sometimes they have multiples of different injections that they're supposedly giving you through that. Some of them hold like 6 different doses of different things that they're protecting you supposedly from, like, you know, whatever those things are that they make up. And then they right? Because they say, what are some of the things that they say? Polio and chicken pox and some of those the inflaming of the brain. What is that called? Meningitis. All these false things. Okay, they're actually being injected into you through the virus, and eventually, once the body goes through something traumatic, it activates it, because the reason why it activates is because they lowered the vibration low enough to activate the program that was injected to them through the beginning vaccinations of the children. So this is why we highly recommend like raw Reiki, what we teach, the Reiki, angelic alchemy, healing that we teach, the aura hypnosis, because these teachings teach you to self-heal yourself and your family. So your children who have had these vaccinations, if you start healing them now, and we have the sacred alchemy to that, then basically what's going to happen is that they won't have to go through these things when they get older. They won't have to have these illnesses and diseases. So and of course, all of this is done with the child's higher self permission. Okay. Yep. Okay. Next question is, do the black eye babies possess any powers to affect our toroidal spheres if we do not shield? They I feel like the entity that's inside of those babies is scared of you. Like they are scared. That's why they cry when they see you. So if you're strong, love light, most likely, I don't feel that they can affect your toroidal sphere or your shields, so long as you're shielding with source love light. I feel like more like you affect them. Your light is contagious and pushes out those entities. And through aura hypnosis, we have sacred teachings on how to assist black-eyed babies. And that's all I can say on that, because it is really sacred what I'm saying here. So maybe they could leave some residue behind if you're not really shielded, or you don't believe in shielding, which hopefully at this point you do if you've been watching me. Then they might, be able to penetrate. I think if someone doesn't shield, yes, they can penetrate, but they're not as strong as we think they are. It's just an abomination that is in a human body that shouldn't be there, and it needs assistance too, right? Because that's what we teach through our hypnosis, not to treat them negatively too. Instead, what made them into this? Who was it that put them into the body? Which, the Archon, our official thing, is in charge of that. Well, it thinks it's in charge of that. So this thing put it in it. So this thing itself, what is it? Is it also part organic too? Is it need help? Is it crying out for help? If it's scared of you, it most likely is crying out for help and just needs assistance. So through aura hypnosis, and you read the book, we've taught you over and over to treat these negative polarized entities with love. We can be bashing and fighting against them and getting angered at them, and why are you there in that baby body? But that's not going to do anything. That's not going to push them out. It's going to add more fuel to the inversions. But instead, if you stand in love and you show unconditional love and a wave of source of light, you be the source being that you're meant to be, you push it out, then that will help balance out the baby, what's really inside of them, and remove it, heal it, positive polarize it, so it's no longer inside the baby. Okay. Okay. So they, someone said, they are saying we are overpopulated in about these 15-minute cities, but there are not as many babies because we are losing the population. Is this to keep us and our families in control to transhumanism? Yes, exactly. You answered your own question, and you explained it actually really good. Yeah, so keep us isolated, keep us more in control, so that they can, oversee their experiments, but we're no one's experiments. So someone's asking, why do they try to make most women try to have a C-section nowadays? They've always been doing that. When you go to the hospital and you have a baby at the hospital and they say you can't eat food, you can't drink liquid, they give you ice, like a little ice, you can't have some ice, that's it. Why do you think they're doing that? When other times do they do that to you when you're about to go into surgery? They're prepping the mother the beginning she walks into the hospital so that she can have a C-section and go under surgery. Now we started showing glimpse of this in Raw for Guardians in book 1, where she explained that she had a life, I think it was in Egypt, and they black magic ritual, they cut her baby out and took it out. That's what they're doing. That's why they want C-sections. How is that organic in any form? To cut the womb of the mother, cut these sacred spaces, and then pull the baby out. That is inverted. But every which way, the minute you do a hospital, you're going to do a hospital birth, their goal is to get you to have a C-section. They want all sorts of complications to come forth, and you being in that presence, in that hospital that has that negative polarized intent that is ran by the Dark Cabal and Illuminati, and you basically are consenting for infringements to happen to your birth, but we don't know it, right? But now we know. Now we're talking about it. So you're coming into awareness now. So yeah, that's why they tell you, because when you're going into surgery, you can't have anything in your stomach, really. So they're prepping the moms for and the babies to be cut out. And then we've already talked about the different things that they do with the baby's placenta, and their placenta that comes out that looks like a tree of life, actually, and how they feed off it and they eat off it. We've talked about this in I recently uploaded them to Rumble. I didn't realize I had taken them off YouTube and I forgot to upload them to Rumble. But it was back then when that documentary came out of, what was it called? Oh, guys, what was it called? Of the children trafficking. Covering. Oh, it's covering here. Let me look it up. It was about child trafficking. Yes, Out of Shadows. So I did 2 videos on covering Out of Shadows, and I started talking to you guys about the adrenochrome, and that was back then in 2020 when we did these on the documentary. And we started giving you details to help you understand that what that documentary was talking about was actually real. So it's part of that. In future literature we'll talk more about that, the details to that, but for now we're giving you what you need to know now and how they're using all parts of the babies, whether it's a placenta, and because they store it in the fridge. I've had actual nurses confirm that they store the placenta in the fridge like it's food, and then someone comes to pick it up randomly and takes it somewhere. Guys, disgusting. What are they doing with that? Yeah. Okay, so it all has to do with not allowing a natural birth, because the baby, as it's going through the birth canal of the mother, is receiving all these light codes and the spine and the genes, and as they naturally birth out into the oceans they come out of the oceans from the placenta of the mother, of the womb, and then they come out into the oceans of our creation, because like we've been talking about in the Antarctica series, we're surrounded by ocean water around us, and then they birth out naturally, so they coming out organically. Now versus if you cut out the baby, cut at the mother, cut at the baby, pop their water, pop their placenta, pull the baby out. Oh my God, that's horrible. So healing, if you've been a mother, as I work with mothers who have had a lot of people have had C-sections, unfortunately. They didn't realize back then that that's what the hospitals wanted from them, is that you need to start working and healing that time and space when you had the C-section. That's what I've been doing, especially through AuroRa Hypnosis, when people book sessions, and we've been going through that time and space in the C-section when they cut the baby out. and healing the baby, healing the mother, healing everything that they use, repairing it. It's just such a deep healing that you have to do to then heal any type of infringement or density that occurred by them doing such a archonic black magic act upon you and your sacred baby. So mother start getting a little fierce and fiery at that. My Kali comes out of me. All right. So let me see. Okay, next question is, okay, someone said, is this why they're trying to convince our kids in preschool that they are not male or female so they won't organically create life? Yes, I was at a retreat and there was a mother saying that their little boy was saying he didn't, I can't remember exactly, but he was saying that he didn't want to be a boy, he wanted to be a girl. How confusing is that to a baby who preschool or child, kindergartner? They're telling them that, oh, they can change their mind or they can choose, like, you know, like they can do that, or you could choose to be none either. You don't have to genderize yourself. This is the time most powerful that the child is learning all these things, and the school is teaching it, programming it into them. They're having like auditoriums where also like pansexual, and all the children, it's like this black magic sorcery that then all the children are not innocent anymore. There's some kind of perversion that's happening. Yes, you can say, no, I don't agree for my child to be there, but then your child, the one child that didn't go to the auditorium that was talking about these inappropriate things that should not be talked about to children, then everyone around, all the kids are different now. They're trying to say, I don't know what sex I am. Actually, I think I like both now. I think they get really confused because this black magic sorcery starts tricking their mind. And then your one child is also getting confused because they're talking about all these things that then entices them, and it basically makes them curious. They start looking up things maybe on the web that they shouldn't be looking at, trying to figure out some of these things. And at that point, they've taken the innocence away from the children. And that makes me very fiery at that point. You do not take the innocence from the children. So, all right. Whew. My cheeks got hot, and I don't get hot. I don't get red like this. Okay. Whew. All right, so let's keep going. Got lots of questions here, but I'm gonna have to stop answering these questions because I really want to go over the material that I'm about to go over. Okay, so we might have to make another one of these, but I want to talk about this really quick, okay? Okay, so I had a recent dream where I was in the Vatican, and it was disgusting. I was watching these priests, and they were taking the children, and they were put them like in sacrificial gowns, and they were literally making out with the children. It was disgusting, and they were making the children feel like it was fun. Like, oh, because the children are so innocent, they have no idea. I watch as this freaking priest is like sucking on a little girl's neck and trying to arouse this child. It was disgusting. All right. So something I want to talk about is that we need to work collectively on transmuting what's happening at the Vatican and other Tartarian buildings. And again, I'm going to refer you to go watch Antarctica and Tartaria series so you can understand what I'm talking about here. Okay. So in the dream, they showed me that it is really important that if you are in a family, and most of the people that I talk to, there's some kind of pedophile friend, family member that has abused the children in the family, sometimes it's even the father, or it's not so much the females, but there's a rarity that it can be, but it's more the father and the grandparents or the uncle and so on. Okay, if you are still with this family that supports pedophilic acts like this and says, shh, don't say anything, and is still friends with that pedophile that abused the children in the family, you are aligning with that, is what I was shown in the dream. They showed me families, and they showed me how basically you're supporting that, because you think you're still programmed, right? You're still programmed to thinking, oh, I must stay with the family honor everything, and you still have this pedophilic family in your life. If it's like if you're just standing behind and just watching a child be abused and you did nothing to stand up against it, you are basically being part of the pedophilic issue versus pulling yourself away from it. You understand? You're feeding that black magic, pedophilic sorcery. If you are still with these family members who think that it's okay for children to be sexually abused, and shh, don't say anything. What are some of the things they say? Oh, we don't talk about these things, or they act like it never happened. So our work that we have been doing to stand up against the family members, whoever they were, the grandparents, whoever, has been huge. And if you've been the one that has been brave to say, you know what, I don't agree with you, family, that you think that this is an act that can just be put put behind doors. We don't need to talk about this. Let's just go about our business and have Christmas and have Easter, and let's just pretend nothing happened. Guys, we're not here for that. We're here to save the children. So the way that you save the children is that you stand up to that and you say, no, I don't agree with that, nor will I be in your presence. If you don't find anything wrong with that, you will not be part of my life. You need to step back, and I'm cutting you out. They said that basically all these families that have kept these pedophilic people in their lives are feeding these dark priests that are sexually abusing these children. And then they told me to look at the Vatican, because I never really look at the Vatican. I just maybe saw like one image. And as we're discovering this Tartarian series, and we also talked about this in part 2, I knew that when I said that the Vatican was really special, when I talked to Laura Eisenhower in her last video, and I talked about how sacred it was, because I could feel its energy. But now, guys, look at these pictures. Look at these pictures. So they also, statistics according to the web says that the Vatican City is the lowest populated city. I wonder why that is. I think there's a lot of unfortunate trafficking there and abductions happening. Mine's being erased about it too. Okay, so here, let's look at some pictures here. Guys, look at this. This is the Vatican. Look at, it's Tartarian completely, all of it. It is vile that, disgusting that these priests are doing satanic rituals in this sacred space in the Vatican. Look at these. They added the cross at the top, but we know that shouldn't be there. If you look at all of these are like goddesses and gods and angels, and again we have the dome. Pillars, gigantic pillars again, the giant, look at this, you all. Look at the shape there. This is sacred. This land here in the France area is sacred, but it's being used, and it is the strongest. It's like a cork stuck, like a plug stuck in the collective, and it is number 1 to children pedophilic abuse, number 1. So think of ways that you can start assisting to transmute the infringements that are happening in the sacred space of the Vatican. Look at this, guys. Look at the architecture in this. It's just wow. Do you think that gold is just like paint? That's real gold, guys. Look at that. Angels appear. Look at the art. Just wow. More angels. They added their crosses wherever they could. Look at that, you all. And here on these sacred lands, they're abusing children. They showed me like kind of like a round table with all these dark priests, and then they had, each one of them had their children, the children that they were gonna molest. And now I'm really going to go into priests, basically. Since I was a child, I knew there was something really off about the priests. I knew that religion was really wrong. These are all of the Vatican, guys. You could research it yourself. There was something really wrong about the priests and the religion. And I couldn't be around these priests. I couldn't be around these religions. And especially as a teenager, once I started really becoming a teacher and teenager and understanding the fact, you know, how basically someone can abuse someone sexually, really started to understand what really sex was in this inverted world. I started feeling, when the priests would just talk, I would have visions, and I didn't know there were visions then, of them abusing children. And it was so hard. Everyone's so programmed, sitting in those you know, seats, and they're all like standing up, sitting up, standing up, going down, you know, praying. And I'm like, what is this? This guy is a pedo, and you are letting him, maybe you're having your child be an altar boy. You are letting them have, you know, it depends on what religion it is. But we know that the Vatican has to do with, you know, Catholic Church. And then there's also a lot of Christianity too that has been inverted. But actually all of them, Mormons, guys, I sit here every day and I hear people's stories, especially like Mormons, strong pedophiles running. The main guy was a pedophile, like factually. So they went into these churches that are so sacred, like the Vatican and other churches that are so beautiful. And you guys have been emailing me your pictures of these churches and how important it was for you. I think I can't remember where it was, but thank you for your comment. You said you went to your nearest church and you were able to see it in a whole brand new eyes. That meant a lot to me. For you, you saw the angels and you saw the, you know, the stained glass, the art within it, and you realized it's been there in front of us. It's been in front of our eyes this whole time, but we've never noticed it. So what I'm telling you is that every church that is Tartarian originally building is gridded to the Vatican. The Vatican is its main beacon point invertedly, where all the churches are carrying this black magic, satanic ritual, pedophilic attacks on children, and then they are in all the churches then directly linked to the Vatican. So they're feeding that system of then tearing apart families and sexually abusing children through the family itself. It's all part of it. So it's time for us to break that system and take back our buildings, take back our sacred points. The Vatican is a very sacred point on earth. So how can we do that? You have to become a healer. You have to be a light warrior. You have to be a catalyst, a indigo, a whatever you are. You just have to heal and transmute these inversions in whatever way that you can, whether it's communicating, whether it's writing a book, whether it's drawing it out, whether it's sharing a post, whether it's commenting on a social media. You are transmuting this so that we can then begin its continual awareness on saving the children of Earth. No more human trafficking, no more children pedophilia. That's not okay. We need to keep banning, like Wayfair. Back then, literally 1 week before the Wayfair thing happened, I was looking for a bookshelf. I told you guys about it. I was looking for a wardrobe because I had a lot of books and I wanted to have doors in it. And the first thing that pops up when you type that in is this 1,000 wardrobe. Like they were selling children. If you remember back then, they were selling children, and then the name of the child was the name of the wardrobe, like Chelsea or Amanda or whatever. And then people started looking it up, and the barcode matched their serial number to their missing case, so that these pedos could then purchase the children, pretending it was a wardrobe, paying 1,000, and they really were like 1,000, guys. Because I remember seeing those prices and I was like really weirded out, because I saw the wardrobes and they were all like 1,000, 2,000, 1,500, and I remember feeling like, why is this all that on Wayfair, all this exact wardrobe, and why would a wardrobe be $1,000? And I knew at that time my higher self was working on it, and then a week later people started talking about it. So this is how we do it, guys. Communication. We must continue to communicate. Thank you for being here. We've covered a lot. We'll see what video we do next time, whether it's we're on the Atlantis series, still trying to Mayan series that we're getting to. We're also on Tartaria, Antarctica, and we're also on this series. So we'll see what comes up next. Make sure that you stay with us every Friday live. Typically I am on YouTube, but if it's really sensitive like today, you will find me live under Rumble. I am uploading this video later to Odyssey, as I am aware, actually, France does not have access to Rumble right now. So that's why I'm on Odyssey. And here we are talking about the Vatican. But yes, thank you for being here. Make sure you share this video as far and wide as you can. As always, right now, before we finish up, hit the thumbs up, guys. Let's help the algorithm so that this may be seen infinitely. Thank you for the 232 current viewers that are viewing. Thank you infinitely, but we know that our numbers are even higher. Thank you. It's quite dark over here. Thank you. I love you with all that I am. I usually finish it up with a song. I kind of don't feel like dancing right now, but we should dance. But I'm just going to finish it up with a song that's going to be really strong. You can dance if you want, but I mean, we can't stay all depressed and down about this information, and it's really hard to deliver these messages. You guys know that. And it's hard for you to listen to it. So I appreciate you infinitely for being strong enough to be able to listen to it. Let's go with the fire dance here. Nothing better than drumming. Transmute it. The drum is like the beat of the heart and the beat of Mother Earth's heart. Let's all together, as we hear this drumming music, send love. Feel its beat, send love. Send love to her heart, so that when you set foot upon her, you can feel her soil and how she is as a drum. And as you stomp your feet, you heal. You send that love to anyone who is ready to heal, whether it's a child, an adult who was a child, who was affected through any kind of sexual abuse. You send love to them. Send love on 555 to the children of Earth. And remember, with every stomp, you send love. It's okay, guys. We got this. We are strong. We are here because we knew that we could do it. We accepted this role. Thank you for believing. Thank you for believing in the children. Thank you for loving the children enough to be here. I love you. Share this video as far as you can. I hope to see you at Eureka Springs, May 13, on the month of 5 again. Gonna do a lot of healing for children as well, because again, everything that I do is for the children. Because ultimately, if I assist the adults, and I assist the mothers and the fathers and the children, grandparents, then I assist the children, right? Deluvia. I love you guys. See you next time. Greetings. It is such an honor to be here with you, explaining what Galactic Soul History book series is about. I am AuroRa. I am the founder of A.U.R.A Hypnosis Healing, which you will find here in our beautiful books. Book 1. Every part of this book is divinely beautiful, beginning from the cover and the amount of wisdom and knowledge that is being shared. This book began by A.U.R.A Hypnosis Healing Technique by conducting past life regression on over 330 clients within the last 3 years, where they told their galactic history, their soul journeys, explaining who they were beyond the veil, beyond this earth, in the dimensions, in a universe. These different higher self expressions surprise me just as much as they're going to surprise you. You're going to start reading this book and you're going to want to learn more and more about these different expressions, not wanting to stop. Through these past life regressions, the clients were able to remember consciously what is within the subconscious as far as where it is that they've traveled throughout time and space, their souls have traveled, and they were able to share histories of different dimensions, planets, and universe and alternate worlds that brought forth pieces of the puzzle, pieces we had thought that we had forgotten. And through every self-expression that they share and these different past lives that they're sharing or future, we learn to be able to remember self, because as we are all fractals of one another, through this book, you will learn how even if a client is talking through a higher self perspective or some of the angelics are talking, you will learn how each one of those have messages even within your life, as we are all expressions and reflections of one another. True history of the galactic history of the universe through all different forms of these higher self expressions, these different clients of throughout internationally throughout the world didn't know each other, but yet we're able to put this beautiful collaboration together. It goes through an infinite amount of how to self-heal, as well as things that are very sensitive, as the mind lab, as how to weave through the artificial matrix and learning to come out from it into the organic matrix. I am a channel to the galactics, and we channeled furthermore information through this book as well. You will remember your soul through other cells. This in itself is infinitely beautiful, because this is why we fractalize from source itself, so that we can learn from one another, sharing each other's journeys throughout our different incarnations so that we could grow together. So this is what this book is all about, sharing these beautiful infinite expressions that help you grow in the most profound ways, gaining your sovereignty, gaining your power back, recalling memories long lost within perhaps your memory field, activating your crystalline energies, your crystalline bodies, just as you will fall in love with each one of these different clients, these beautiful souls in these soul journeys. You will also learn to fall in love with yourself, because you, with every wisdom, every knowledge gained through every single session that you will learn how to also self-heal within your etheric, your energy body, your physical body, your infinite soul. You will learn all these different things that we thought were not possible, that you will learn that they are possible. Looking forward to meeting you perhaps in the future through whichever form, whether that is on my YouTube channel, whether it is through any class or certification, through a workshop, through a seminar. Thank you for following your heart to mine. I love you, honor you, and respect you. Thank you.